Welcome back to the channel, folks. If you're new to the channel, my name is Brad and I'm out here on our 20 acres in North Florida that we call Piney Grove, that we're taking raw land and turning into a homestead. So what I'm going to do today is, I've had a lot of problems establishing grass on the east end of our pasture. I was keeping 1 or 2 acres kind of set aside as a food plot, but I found that we have plenty of food for the deer and the wildlife in the back of the property in the 1 acre food plot. So I want to turn that all into bahia grass, giving us about 6 acres of pasture out here in the front. So first thing I do is put this loader back on the tractor because I need to use the forks for something else. And then I'm going to mow that area. What I'm going to do, and it's going to be a little bit interesting because I've never done it here on Piney Grove, or at least not on camera, is I'm going to use a disc harrow. So that was our primary method of tilling for years on my food plots and also when we first got Piney Grove. But then I bought a rototiller for the tractor. But the disc harrow I think is going to be the better tool. It'll let me show how a disc harrow is used. I'm going to change the angle of the disc pans, they're called. And so instead of them being aggressive, I'm going to have them almost straight. And that way I'll just cut little ribbons in the dirt and then the grass seed will fall in there. I'll backblade over that with the tractor, drive over it with the tires, and that'll push the grass into kind of like rows. And the reason for doing that is there's already a little bit of bahia coming up, so I don't want to do a complete tillage on it. And with the equipment I've got, that's the best way I can think to do it. Let's get going and start that process now. Okay, I called an audible. Before I put the loader on, I'm going to go ahead and mow. Because of all the extra visibility without the loader, and also I don't have to hear that clanking and stuff rattling around of the loader while I'm mowing. I remembered that I had some of this throw and grow, and it's basically a cheap food plot mixture. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it back there where it's a little sandy, just so I can get some vegetation going. This is rye, clover, and rape, I think, which is like a kale or something like that. And it's supposed to grow really quickly. It's not really that good for the deer, but it will give me some green ground cover. So I'm going to put this out first. Then I got my bag of bahia grass by the camera. I'm going to put the bahia seed out, and then I'm going to hook to the disc and lightly disc this. So the camera should be able to pick this up, but this is why you don't buy buck on the bag type of seed. By buck on the bag, I mean a bag with a buck on it, because this is a lot of cheap ryegrass seed and just a little bit of clover and a little bit of rape in there. Don't waste your money on stuff like this with a buck on a bag. Go ahead and buy real clover, real rye, real rape. If that's what you want to plant, then buy that in a specific bag of that seed. You'll get a lot better results than if you buy a mix like this. But this was given to me, so I'm just going to put it out. I'll never use it in a food plot, so I might as well use it here. It's almost criminal how little of anything else but cheap ryegrass seed is in here. This is Pensacola bahia. And you can see it's just pure grass seed. So I'm going to spread it on that side because the wind's blowing this way and it'll blow it into the pot. And I'm just probably going to use about this much to go all the way down. Three-point equipment removal, always fun. This is only the second time I've done this in my life. Don't judge me. So this is the disc harrow that basically created Piney Grove as far as the pastures, but it's an adjustable disc harrow. I'll get that bolt out, and then you hit on these tabs. It's got 4 gangs of 4 discs each, so it's a 16 disc. It's 5 foot wide. It might even be close to 6 foot wide because it's wider than the tractor. And it's a friction bearing disc, so it takes a lot of grease. Like if you do 1 or 2 acres with it, you need to re-grease it because it's metal on metal and it's got a grease fitting. It's not a sealed bearing disc. I do have a sealed bearing disc on my hunting lease, and I put all new sealed bearings in it, and that thing's nice. You never have to worry about it. But these will last a lifetime. You just got to keep them greased. Once I get this bolt out, then I can take these gangs, which are not at a real aggressive angle. You can see there's 2 more holes of angle left where it could be more aggressive, and that just tilts that disc that way, and the tractor is going straight, and it just cuts more when that's tilted that way. So what we want to do is get these discs back in line. Let me get this bolt out, see what happens. Bolt came out easy. That's just really nice. It's like this has got to go this way, and it's moving. Okay, that hole's lined up. And that disc harrow is almost straight, and that's what we want. We don't want to tear up that grass over there too much. I think that's good. Bolt goes in, put the nut on, it's adjusted. We'll go disc in that seed we spread earlier. Put the loader on. I took the bucket off. I put the pallet forks on. Now I'm going to disc. And then I'm going to put the bucket back on the tractor because I think I'll use the bucket maybe to smooth it out. I'll look at it after I disc. I don't think I could be more pleased with how that came out. I don't know if it's going to grow, but I really like the way it looked and the way it saved the bahia that was already there. So I'm just going to run back and forth with the tractor just to take the tires and kind of break up those dirt clods and pack in that seed. I'm not going to record that. That's going to be boring. But yeah, so far I'm really liking this. Hope in a couple of weeks those new little grass seeds start coming up. It actually felt really good to disc. There's no PTO, so you don't have to worry about a PTO shaft and turn that on and off. You just pick up the disc, turn around, and do another trip. Like I mentioned when I hooked this thing up, it's a friction bearing disc, so you got to keep it greased. And I never know if I'll remember to grease it before I use it or if I'll have grease with me. So I try to always leave it greased. But the better grease you keep a disc harrow, the less friction there is, the more these pans will want to turn instead of getting stuck and dragging. And the easier they turn, the better they chop. This is a 40 horsepower tractor, and that's a little hill that I have to go up there to disc in. Even with these pans not set very aggressively, you can feel the tractor working a little bit. Takes a lot of grease, like 20 pumps per fitting. Some of these fittings took 50 pumps of grease, and I know that there was grease in it when I started discing, and I disced, an acre and a half. It's very important you keep a disc greased, and it may take up to a tube, but if you don't, and that bearing wears through, this disc will actually flop, and that's the end of your day. It's a full day to replace a bearing on a disc. Well, not if you're a farmer, but if you're a weekend warrior, by the time you order the part, get it where you have some air impact wrenches, take off that big nut on the end and the locking spacer. I took this disc completely apart and cleaned all the bearings and put all new grease fittings in it because I know how important that is. If I had left it the way it was when I bought it, I wouldn't be able to grease it. The grease fittings were so impacted with old dried out grease, you couldn't get new grease in it. But she's all greased up, ready to go. So hopefully the third time's a charm with planting this grass. I think we might have been okay if we hadn't planted. As I was walking through there, I think I saw a bunch of little grass that was coming up, but now it has been replanted and I feel better about that. I feel more confident about this seed that I put down. Also, it allowed me to drag this disc out of the woods and get some of that rust off the pans by dragging it through the dirt, grease it, and basically get it ready for the next time that it needs to be used, and also get it here inside the pole barn, get it out of the weather where it'll last forever. But that's all I've got for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed coming along with us here at Piney Grove, reseeding that portion of the pasture. If you would, click that like button at the bottom. That's that thumb at the bottom. That'll really help out our channel. Subscribe if you haven't already and share with your friends. Also, if you would, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, that's all I've got. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care out there, y'all.